Yo, y'all listening to Savage Media Radio, your number one source for underrated and non-viral topics, discussions, and news from the web and around the world. Think you can handle that much truth? Buckle up, bruh. It's about to get savage.
That's right. What's good, you guys? What's up? You heard it. You heard the intro, so you know what that means. I know it's not 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock somewhere. Let's just say that. We had to some things that had happened in life, and we had to take care of some things. But guess what? It's Monday, and we're here. So, without further ado, let's get to the voices in this podcast. Yo, team, what's good, Lewis? How about you? What's up, Lewis? How you doing this week?
Yeah, we're doing good here. How's everybody out there?
We're doing good. Anything exciting to do you want to tell us about real quick?
Yeah, not much I can think about. Just same old stuff going on with us. We had big New Year's Twitch stream for Unlockable Content. We played Bendy and the Ink Machine, so you can see that on the YouTube channel for Unlockable Content. That was a lot of fun. Otherwise, just same old life for me.
Same old life, same old time right now. Well, Happy New Year. Just reminded me again. I forgot to say that this is our first show of the new year, so Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yes, Miss Noemi. Happy New Year, girl. Tell us what's gooding. Noemi, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, y'all. Hey, y'all. Happy New Year. Yes, and today is the most exciting day because my son has spent 6 days in the hospital and he finally came home today.
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations to that. I was going to ask you, and I'm glad you said it. So shout out to you, Mom. Shout out to your son for being strong and bold and having an awesome mom like you. I'm hoping you're enjoying yourself at home, getting him whatever he wants to. Give him whatever he wants. Give him from Uncle Troy said. We're going to buy him ice cream. Whatever he want, we're going to buy him ice cream. So he get what he want. Carlos. What's goody?
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Troy. How are you? Fine.
I'm doing really freaking awesome, guys. I can't wait to talk. But you go ahead.
Oh, I know. I've just nothing new. Just New Year's party. I was tired, man. I think I drank myself sick last week. So I'm detoxing this week.
So you was white boy wasted or you was chocolate brown boy wasted?
No, it wasn't like that. It was just like several days of continuous drinking. So it was just like my kidneys are... No, it wasn't that I wasn't wasted on any day. It was just like, but when you drink very expensive bottle of wine, like over and over and over, your kidney starts to hurt. Like you got kidney stones.
Right, come on, we can't do it like we used to. We're not that young no more. You gotta calm it down.
I know.
Slow it down just a little bit, okay? We gotta be body conscious after you reach a certain age. So you gotta be thinking about those things. It goes to your brain a lot faster.
Chris can't drink beer anymore because he's getting a gut, so he can't drink yeast. I know it's that. He loves
your rules or his rules.
Oh, those are his rules.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I support that if it's his rules now. I'm about to say.
No, he be in the gym with me doing gut busters and shit because he has a little dad stomach, so it's cute though. But he trying to lose.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Dad, I thought my dad about to end, Chris. Let's do a photo shoot and show him what's up, okay? I ain't got a 6-pack. I ain't even got a 4-pack, but I got a 2. But it'll look cute when we put some makeup on it. Don't worry, we're gonna do a photo shoot, me and Chris, with our dad bodies. Anyway, Miss Coco, I'm not gonna go to you last. I'm gonna go to you now before I get to myself. What's good? What's good?
My mic's working. Y'all can hear me, right?
We can hear you.
Cool. But what's good with me? My cousin had a baby. It's a boy.
I had a baby. It's a boy.
For the past 2 hours, I've been rushed there, then rushed back. And 2 hours, she had a baby. I notified me, and everyone's crying and happy. And now we're here. So I'm doing pretty good.
Yes. We doing business. We still doing business, y'all. You see, you do what you got to do. You handle your business, and you still make it to work. Come on, y'all. This is so good. Everybody's here. We got the whole team too. We got all the voices. So shout out to you and your cousin and your family, and in addition to your family. What's the baby's name?
Oh, Lucas. And I hate it, but it's okay.
Don't do that. Let them say that. I hope you didn't say that to their face. Shout out to Lucas.
But and she don't listen to this either. But I don't know. I feel like
she better not be mad with you.
But that's all right. I'll get used to it.
Well, shout out to Lucas. Welcome to the world, Lucas. Shout out to you and y'all. Bundle of Joy is always good. And that brings back to me, which I'll say 2 things about that. Well, Bundle of Joy, it's always been said like in the old school, when the baby is born, someone passes away. So unfortunately, my Uncle Greg in Virginia has passed away. So shout out to my Uncle Greg. Love you, Uncle Greg. That's my mom and my great aunts. That's like their best friend. He was an awesome spirit, awesome, amazing guy. Thank you. I totally forgot about that until just now when you said that. So that's amazing. Thank you for making me remember that. But also, too, my cousin Janelle. Shout out to Janelle. She's in the hospital right now, getting ready to give birth any day now to her baby boy, Maximus James Smart to her. She'll be FaceTiming me and stuff. So any day now, you have a new nephew in the world. So you guys see pictures and you guys see video. Y'all know how to. But this week has been crazy. To me, getting out New Year. I'm serious. Kicking doors and blessings just come and get real close and let it rub off on you. That's all I'm saying. Tomorrow, I'm going to Epic Recording Artists, something in the background for Epic Recording Artists tomorrow. That was like super huge. I don't know how it happened. And God is good. And then all of a sudden, I got an email to participate in something I applied for to have my own shoe line with this Italian company. And they actually hit me back. I just submitted it to now. Underway. So don't worry, it's coming. I'll send you a sneak peek.
Troy's shoes going to flash and go the other way, and then it's silver.
She's so wild. You know when I have some shit like that. That'll be some customized shit you can't get from the picture in the group chat proposal for the shoe. This is the first happened so fast and so quick. And so, yeah, those are it. And I'm up there with the shoes, but I'll send you guys the picture in 2 seconds in a minute. But yeah, this Under Savage Media Radio podcast. I'm gonna get into the good stuff because some people have to go. I know time and it's crazy. We made some changes, and but it is what it is. We're a family. We're a dysfunctional family sometimes. We make it happen. Either way it goes, that's what we do, and we're here. So, without further ado, we're gonna get to what we got to get to. So, first segment of the day, we're gonna call it 3 personality sins, and these 3 sins are stalkerish, wishy-washy, or judgmental. I'm going to say this again. 3 personal sins. We've all been guilty of 1 or 3. Don't get it twisted. And don't stalkerish, wishy-washy, or judgmental. Are you guilty of committing a personality sin? If so, be good. Many, mighty, mo. I'm going to start with me. I don't know why. I'm going to start with you on this. Personal sins. Have you ever been stalkerish, wishy-washy, or judgmental? Guilty of it? This is why I'm wearing the badge.
I've been all 3.
You've been all 3? Come on, thank you for being honest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so give me one of them that you really feel like, something that happened or situation that may have, stuck out the most for any one of those.
I'd have to say that in all 3 that I've done in all 3 situations, I gotta say that with he tried to change his PIN number, known better hack him.
Oh my goodness.
Then it was wishy-washy between us because I wasn't that same person. And as for judgmental, I was judgmental because of everything that he was fucking doing. Everything that I did. Mm-hmm.
That's life. That's how we do. Damn. Thank you for being honest and true. Woo. Shout out to Lewis. I'm going to move because I want to make sure I get to him before he get out of here. Lewis, are you guilty of any of these personality sins? Any stories that stick out to you? Stalkerish, wishy-washy, judgmental?
Well, for me, I don't know about stalkerish. I definitely say that I can be clingy. I don't know about stalkerish.
What about wishy-washy or judgmental?
What do you even mean by wishy-washy? What is that supposed to be? Like, you can't make up your mind on things?
Like, I'm your friend today, and then, like, tomorrow, like, I can't stand you. Like,
like
don't
being
stay.
Two-Face.
No, I can't think of any time where I've been like that. I can definitely be judgmental, though. I remember, I'm sure I'm probably the only person that remembers this existed. But I'm going back like maybe 15 years or so. There was a show that was on the Game Show Network. And I think they actually canceled the show because of like race issues that were coming up on it. But it was built around the psychology that you develop your opinion of a person within 15 seconds of meeting them. Like all you get, like in the amount of time it takes for somebody to say their name, you have already developed an opinion of them. And like the entire point of this show was that they have these like 5 people on a screen, and they have 5 people like that are the judges, and they just like systematically learn more and more about them in like small increments, and they have to narrow it down to a single person with very little information, just being as judgmental as they can. And like that was always a really interesting thing to me. And I know that, subconsciously or subconsciously, we've all been guilty of that. So I know I've got some judgmentalness in me.
Listen, I'm definitely sure we all do, but thank you for sharing that. I'm sure we've all been guilty of that. And I've heard that before, and not the first time I've heard that. So maybe I heard it from that show 15 years ago and didn't know. And you brought it back. But yeah, I definitely heard it before. Sir Carlos, stalkerish, wishy-washy, judgmental, all 3, which one?
Stalkerish. I don't call it stalking. I call it research.
Research.
I think anything that you go into, you need to know what you're working with. So, like I had a friend recently, and she thought maybe her husband was cheating on her. So she gave me a phone number and an email, and I just did some research. And, I found out where she lived, where she worked, who her assistant was at her work. I called her twice, left a voicemail. I don't think that's stalkerish. I just think that was just really good research.
I'm glad that while I'm standing outside his window. What?
Oh, can't stand outside my window, boo-boo. We live in the gated security building. Ain't nobody outside of here because I have had death threats in life. No, sir. My building security is so well, they called the police on us.
Not again.
Wishy-washy? Hell no. If you know me, I'm wishy-washy is not me. I'm not two-faced. You get it like you get it. If I don't like you, you'll feel it. And if I do, that's great. I'm probably going to eventually hate you in the future. So, judgmental. I don't consider me being judgmental. I consider me being a realist. So, like, if you, I'm a realist. So, like, be real with yourself. If you look ugly today, you ugly. Like, today. But that's not me being judgmental. You should have saw yourself before you left the house. So
that's what friends are for, Carlos. You better tell me that I got a booger in my nose or something, or Courtney got lipstick on her teeth. You better let us know that.
So this judgmental says, what is the judgmental? Are you guilty of committing a personality sin? What's a personality sin? What type of Catholic shit is this?
It's actually something that I learned in college in psychology.
Oh my Jesus!
It's a thing.
It's a thing, Carlos. You said look it up on Wikipedia. It's there.
All right, I'm gonna
leave it at that.
They call that a
Coco.
Isn't that what that is?
What?
Say it again.
Isn't like the common word for that a faux pas?
Pretty much. Yes and no, I guess.
Word either.
What'd you say?
It's kind of like judging a book by its cover before you even know it.
Yeah, that being judgmental. Yeah, that part. Yeah, but whatever. It's a thing. It's a thing, guys, and we're all guilty.
Yes, Dr. Coco. Come on, Dr. Coco. Tell him. That's okay. Go ahead. Any of those personality fits for you?
I'm always stalkerish. First of all, I stalk the shit out of people, and I'm not ashamed of it. Like, literally, you tell me your first and then your last name, that is your first motherfucking mistake. I'm going to find you. I'm going to know who your mother is. And it's not because I'm trying to be creepy. It's because I like to see who I'm dealing with. And two, I like to see who you are and make sure you're not being wishy-washy. And I want to see who you are outside of talking to me. Because I'm really good at reading people. So, like, based off of, like, things you post or, your pictures, I can pretty much get a good feel for you. But is it creepy? Probably, and I don't give a fuck. Am I wishy-washy? No. What you see is what you get, so it is what it is. And pretty much, fucking guys, if you know, in our chat we always have stupid gifs, and there's one with Kim Kardashian peeking out from a bush. That is me, and I don't give a fuck.
That was so good.
I do not care. Seriously, what was the last one? What was that, judgmental?
Judgmental.
Yeah, I hate you before I like you, and that's always been how I was, like, since I was a kid. I'm gonna always...
That's true.
What'd you say?
That is so true.
Yeah, I hate you before I like you. Like, I'm gonna automatically think you're not like the worst person, but I'm automatically gonna have my guard up and watch you every step you make until I know that I can fuck with you. And that's always the way I've been, so yes. Judgmental 100%. But Daquan also said something in the chat, too.
Come on, Daquan, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Yes, hey, boo.
Our first Daquan quote of the year. Come on.
He says, I think everyone is prejudiced. When I say that, I mean we all have judged people before getting to know someone. Absolutely. It's like human nature. Like, you see somebody, they look differently, they act differently, they talk differently, and you're going to automatically have some kind of upright, like, upfront kind of, like, I don't even know if it's an opinion. It's not even an opinion. You don't have time to form an opinion at that time.
Right.
It's more
it's subconscious.
like just how I feel automatically. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's subconscious.
New Yorkers, not like in Boston.
I'm like,
there it is.
Y'all don't hear me talking? It's subconsciously because We've all been judged, and because we've been judged, we automatically judge other people, and it's not like we do it on purpose. It's a subconscious thing. So that's what I was trying to say. Sorry. And so when it comes to me, that's what I was going to say about judgmental. I feel like at the end of the day, I can tell you a lot of stories. I hate getting on a train and it smell like breath, so I'm always judgmental about certain people while their breath is strong. But that's just being in New York and living on a public train. Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to say no names or anything.
No. If your breath stink, I'm sorry. You're going to have to direct your breath away from me.
No, it's not even that. A certain type of people have a certain kind of breath. But it's not that it's bad breath. It's a certain kind of strong breath. And, when you get on a public train and they close the closing doors. Close the door, boom. It's just a closed space of breath. It's
sometimes
just like a couple
like
of...
a metal smell. It's not even like a booty hole smell. It's like a metal.
Oh, no. Booty hole smell. What is that? I'm done. I don't even know what that means. I'm just going to say, like... Okay, I don't know what that means. I'm really confused. At the end of the day, it's also another one. There's another smell, too, like when it's raining outside and a certain kind of people get on the train all together at the same time. It's an overwhelming aroma. You know what I'm saying? So we all judgmental at that point. So, yeah. The wishy-washy, I'm not a wishy-washy person. Is it either, y'all know me, I'm very passionate. It is what it is, baby. If I got something to say, I'm going to say it. If I don't, I don't. And if I messed up, I'm sorry. And that's it. But I'm half Puerto Rican, so I'm definitely a motherfucking stalker, okay? I will stalk if I need to. Stand outside the job, you know what I'm saying? Call the number from somewhere else. I'll do whatever I have to do if I need to. Because if I need to get the answer I need to get it because I ain't got no time to waste. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody, okay? Okay. That's how about that.
Yes, let them know, Troy. Let them know.
Right. Daquan also says in the chat, it's security for ourselves. We protect ourselves before letting someone get a chance, and that's towards being judgmental. He also says, being a larger male, I am afforded extra space on the train that I make for myself.
Come through. Yes. See, he knows what the struggle is. He knows what's going on. And he's absolutely right. Absolutely right with that. Hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah. Segment 2. We got to keep it moving, y'all, before we get out of here. This is real good. I don't know what Coco be thinking when she comes up with these things, because Coco's the boss.
Thank you, Troy.
I'm just the person, the messenger. Don't shoot me. I give a good message, but I'm not the creator. But this is really good. Segment 2. Could you marry a murderer, a drug dealer, pedophile? If not, what are some of your questionable actions that you could forgive your spouse for? So if you can't marry a murderer, a drug dealer, or a pedophile, then you got to tell us what your questionable actions are that you would forgive your spouse for. Wow, that's kind of questionable. What other questions besides that?
I start with this one, Troy?
Go ahead, Carlos. You can start with this one.
So I was watching this show. I was watching the show Good Girls recently, and that's kind of what the show's about. They're like these housewives who become like thugs and like robbers and shit, and their husbands think they're like these normal people. So Chris asked me, he's like, "Hey, babe, like, what would I have to do to make you leave me?" And honestly, like, if he robbed, like, it had to be a good reason why you robbed the bank. Like, we had to think it through. And then I'm going to be a team. Like, we're a team. So honestly, but a pedophile, it just really depends on what felony we talk about. I can back a lot of felonies, but if you fucking children, you got to go. But, I mean, if you robbed the bank, hey.
What about murder?
I mean, what did the person do? Was it just cold-blooded?
So this depends on the case. If it's a class 4 felony, somebody, but if it's a class 10 felony, it's no way.
Depends on the case. But you know what? That's also what just the way I'm thinking, how I'm saying it depends on the case. That's the defense that a lot of women use or men use when their spouse is convicted as a pedophile. They're like, well, it wasn't, you don't know the whole thing. You don't hold, because I have a cousin who was doing like 22 years for pedophilia, and everyone's like, oh, you never know the whole case. I'm like, regardless of knowing the whole case, we know that there was sex with a child. That's all I need.
That's the bait.
I got something. Look, I was on question with action. I'm like, I'm going to be the sort of devil advocate. So, Carlos, would you, if your husband says to you, if you found out, not even your husband said, you found out that your husband did porn, but he never told you that, and you found out, like, someone randomly came and you said, yo, you saw this video, or, like, sent them random text video or something to your phone, and you never knew this. Found you, if you know, and you probably... how would that be? Like, is that questionable action you can get over that?
Wait, get over what? What was your question real quick? Get over what?
Your husband, I'm not saying he has, so don't get it twisted. Don't start no fights. But if you found out that your husband did porn and he didn't tell you.
Chris, you did porn and you didn't tell me?
I just said.
Chris just walks to the door. He looks so confused. No, actually, no. I wouldn't get mad. Like, I wouldn't get mad. Shit. There were some times I had to change things for some change in college to get Christmas gifts. Shit. And I had to, Chris was like, where'd you get the money for? I'm like, hey. Strange. And then I told him, and then I was go-go dancing, and he just came to the club with me to help me collect the money.
Love it.
So, you know.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, if y'all were together married, right, years like you are, and then you find out 7 years later, oh, your husband did porn.
Okay.
I never told you in 7 years.
So it was like legal, legitimate porn?
Right. Like, it was a porn, like, right.
Yeah, I would be upset if they didn't tell me, but I would be like, where the money at? You've been doing this for years. You obviously got.
Let's get this money. Okay. Copy her. We all about teamwork. I get it. I ain't even that.
In this household, we're about teamwork. In this household, we're about the communication. And honestly, if your partner does not tell you that they're doing something like that, you need to really question why that's your partner.
I agree. That's kind of crazy. I was like, you know what? I don't know. That's a question whack. I don't think I can. Like, why would you need to? My thing is, if you suck dick for some change, it's fine. I don't want to find later. I don't want my little cousin bringing no DVD up to me.
Can I tell y'all a personal story real quick? Okay, real quick. So I had this back in it was April or May, right after my mom died. I went through a real depression, right? So I went on Grindr, found this little person that sucked my dick. I was like, okay, it won't be that bad. It'll be cool. I didn't tell Chris about it because usually we have a very open communication, right? So person comes over, sucks my dick. Then it was like, oh, I got to go to school. I was like, oh, what college do you go to? He's like, oh, no, I'm a senior in high school. I said, what? I said, sir, how old are you? He was like, oh, I'm 18. I was like, where's your license? He's like, oh, I don't have it on me. And I was like, no. I had to call my husband. Be like, bro, this is I was like, this is an honest circle. This is the real. This is my mistake. I had a lapse of judgment. And how the fuck do we find out this person's this age? And Chris is like, oh, I is his name. And then Chris looked up his name and he was 18. But still, I tell that story to say that even if you like, you're gonna have to tell your partner regardless. So I'm always the one to just go first and be like, hey, listen, this is what it is. And honestly, what I found out is that if you make a mistake, we're human. And my husband usually appreciates it more that I came in, I was honest, so he knows he doesn't have to like really distrust me because humans make mistakes. It's about the lie that they try to hide the mistake. It's the problem.
Right. That's some good advice. Yeah, that's so true. That's why I was like, look, tell the truth. Like at the end of the day, you know, it's better coming from you than hearing it from somebody else. That is the worst thing ever to hear some shit that happened.
But you know what? There needs to be one place for niggas to tell their age because these 18, 19-year-olds, these are some fast-ass children. And how the fuck are we supposed to know? Like, how the fuck are we supposed to just ID? Do you ID everybody? You get your dick sucked by Troy? You ID them?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about ID. Look, first of all, we need you to go out and drink. I see you outside at club somewhere.
Well, even in the club, are 18 plus, so you still have to be very...
Oh, that's different for you. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know, probably with 18-year-old now. 32? It's not the same. I don't know. That's not the same. That's like, you know, you play with crayons, and I got...
I'm turning...
No, I can't do it. No. Moving
exactly.
on. No, exactly. I mean, would you marry a murderer, drug dealer, pedophile, or give questionable action that you forgive your significant other for?
I would have to say I agree with Carlos because I have, not saying married, but I did date a man who was a pedophile. But when I found out the story behind it, it was kind of fucked up because he was going through a second marriage. He was getting a divorce. And because he had a really good paying job, his second wife forced her 15-year-old daughter, who doesn't fucking live with them, but she would come on the weekends, say that he molested her. And with his first wife...
How do we know that he didn't 100%? How do we know that?
Because with his first wife, he has a 15-year-old daughter and he never fucking touched her.
Okay, but that was okay. But how do we know though?
Because when they went to court and they asked the girl afterwards, after it was said and done, and he lost his firefighter job, everything. We went back because I helped him. I helped him get a lawyer because I said, something's wrong. And she texted him saying that mom told me this, and that's when he got the second lawyer. Because the daughter never stayed in the house. She was never in the house. She was always sneaking out. Wow. And she was saying all this shit that there was text messages from his email, but it wasn't his email. It was a different person. And it was the man that she was creeping out to go fucking see.
He was sending them up. Mm-hmm. I hope they expose all of them crooked ass crickets.
Okay.
All of them. I hope they expose. You don't play with people's life like that. That's not a joke.
No, and he was a firefighter, a decorated firefighter here in town.
Damn.
And just fucking lost everything.
You don't do that to people. Well, I'll be ready. I ain't gonna say it. Never mind. Lewis, could you marry a murderer, drug dealer, pedophile? Or if you got any questions, we'll ask you something for you.
I think Lewis left.
Okay, cool. Happy New Year. I'm done. Courtney's back. Coco, would you marry a murderer, drug dealer, pedophile?
You missed our Real Shit Friday episode. I could totally marry a murderer because at the end of the day, people snap, and I feel like I don't know. I just feel like
I'd rather know your murderer than snap on me. She gonna say I'd rather know your murderer than snap on me.
Yeah, you had to be there.
You had to be there. I think I could marry a murderer if I knew the full extent of the story and what happened, because humans are humans. I think I could marry, of all of them, I think I could marry a murderer if I did my research. But as far as like anybody else, drug dealer or pedophile, I think that's just too much for me. I don't know why, just because of just who I am. It may not make any fucking sense, but I don't think I could go in that direction. But murder, yeah, probably. I'd have to say probably.
Okay. I got something for all of y'all then. I got something for all of y'all since y'all all got answers to this question. This is my question to y'all. You go out. Let's hypothetically clear our minds for 2 seconds. Every one of you is single. Going out. Every one of y'all is single. The 3 of you that are left besides myself. All single. Set up on a blind date. You go out on this blind date. And mind you, you've been single for a while. Go on a blind date. You meet this person. You enjoy this time with this person. You go out. And you go out, you enjoy that time with that person. Boom. And now you start having feelings and you guys build a bond from that blind date. Time goes by, puppy dog love, now you're in a relationship. Things start to unfold, you start being honest, and now this person starts to tell you the reality of what happened. Then what would the situation be after you've already met them and you've already known?
Okay, you gave me too much. Okay, what happened?
Carlos, you're so stupid.
Carlos, he's saying like whatever the situation is.
I'm really like, I'm a drug dealer.
Like I find out he's a murderer.
Like after you built this relationship with them and you spent time with them, and you really value who they are. At this point, they what?
I'm just saying.
What did he do? Did he like chop up his mother and put her in our basement? Like what did he do?
But that's what he's saying. He's like, it's a what if. So he's saying, what if he was a murderer? What if he was a drug dealer? What if he was a pedophile? But you don't know.
That also depends on how long it was ago. Like if it was a long time ago, murder doesn't have a statute limitation. So thank you for letting me know, because we're going to split our finances. Because when you do go down, we don't need to be together. So leave.
So Daquan made a good point. I think he's pretty much on point with the rest of us. He goes, a murderer, depending on why they killed somebody. Very true. Pedophile, never. Drug dealer, depending on if you stopped, but has to be a good reason. Like your mom was on drugs, but you had to feed.
But you know what? You know what's crazy though? Stop barking. I keep hearing something that we're all saying, and Chris made this point the other day. We keep putting pedophiles in a worse category than murderers.
No, and I get that.
That's why those pedophiles are their victims. So we need to stop putting them at worse than murderers, because at the end of the day, killing a person is not worse than honest. I don't know. I'm not going to say that it is.
I know what you're saying. The person
suffers for the rest of their life with this.
This is why. I put a pin right there. Let me tell you why. This is why I asked that question. First and foremost, this is why I did it. At the end of the day, it's two things. The labels that people are labeled once things happen in their life are labels that follow them forever. And because they have those labels, we don't know the story sometimes. And because they have labels, we judge them, or we might not be, whatever the case may be. So it sucks because not all of those people are in those categories. Not every person that's labeled a convicted murderer is a murderer. Not everybody that's convicted pedophile is a pedophile.
Can we talk about something real quick since we're on this topic real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about R. Kelly? So, is he a pedophile?
Okay, listen. Can I answer this? I think he's a pedophile for what he did early in the game with all those girls staying over his house and obviously having sexual relations and their parents being okay with it as long as they come out rich. Yes, he was a pedophile then. For the other weird freaky shit that he's into, no, that people keep labeling him worse for, that I don't think so. But I think definitely when he was in the game in the beginning and he had those girls promising this and that, their parents being okay with sending them off to his house, and obviously he did a lot of inappropriate shit, that's when he was a pedophile. And that's my opinion, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
I don't know, because if everybody knows the whole background about R. Kelly and you knew what he was into and you sent your kid there, then it doesn't classify him as a pedophile. Because if everybody remembers correctly, his first younging that he got married to was Aaliyah.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody fucking knew about that. But it doesn't.
Like, it didn't need any bait. He just brought his wrong.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
I don't say that the
There you go.
All those people, like you said, they all knew what was up. They knew what was going on. It wasn't like, to me, a pedophile is somebody, a sneaky man. You see preying on kids with candy and all kind of stuff like that. Not somebody who's living this.
We're victimized.
All I know is that Aaliyah's albums have spiked in the last.
So Queen Mama sent her up there to go sing background, knowing that there's possible. Like, first of all, why are you sending this little girl to be with a grown man in the first place? You wasn't there sitting there with her in the session, seeing what was going on. Like, these people were into it.
The last say. Ready? He goes. Of course, because he agrees with me. He goes, R. Kelly is a pedophile, nasty, disgusting monster. No matter what anyone else says, he took the opportunity to have sex with these young girls. Boom. That's my boy.
Boom, bow.
That's just like saying, but I mean, I'm not arguing, but what I'm saying is that these parents. So, God bless them all, because I like.
We're saying the parents are still shitty people, but R. Kelly, regardless, is still a pedophile. I think the parents should get charged for something if charges go down, or if like the blame.
There was a whole team set up. You see all those people sat there and talk about what happened. Oh, he was around the school. He was doing this. They all knew this for years. It's not like he just did it on his own on sneaking shit. They knew what was going on.
No one fucked them children but him. So you can't blame him.
They closed the door like, all right, let me turn the light out.
But I didn't fuck.
Let me leave them M&Ms.
You can call me accessory to fucking, but I didn't fuck them.
Wait, guys. Listen to Daquan. He goes, nah, I would have loved to have been on to speak on this topic. Listen, you got to get on the show. You pull up some good points, and you definitely give us a run for our money when it comes to, like, opinions and stuff. Right. You need to be on the show, Daquan. You're amazing. Get your butt on here. This would have been awesome. It would have been a debate for years, though, but it would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have.
Yes, and we're gonna end it with that. Move to the next segment real fast. Yes, Daquan, stop playing games and get your ass on this podcast now. We got you on there one time on Free Yourself.
Yes.
So now we gotta get you on the voices. Stop playing, Daquan. Stop playing. We need you, bruh. We need you. All right, cool. So segment 3. This is to Daquan too, since Lewis left. Daquan's still here. So segment number 3, real fast. We only got, you got 2 minutes to answer it. The ultimate send-off is what this called. Have you ever thought about how you want to be remembered after death? Have you ever given thought to what you want your funeral to be like? What would you want to be said about you at your podium? Do you have any quirky last requests? Sorry. Yeah. So I think this is pretty interesting. Thank you, Coco, for this. It's gonna really show how glitz and glamour we ready for this. So I'm gonna start with Carlos on this one because he's the diva of all of us. The ultimate send-off, Carlos. Have you ever thought about how you want the funeral to be? So how you want people to remember you after your death?
Yes. Actually, Chris and I already put this down in our living will. So what I want to happen is when I die, I don't want a funeral until 12 months after my death, so people can actually have time to grieve, and if they want to come to see me, actually have the time to bring funds and stuff. So with that being said, I want to turn my body into soil and then turn that soil into some type of fruit or wine that could be shared with my guests, probably like dirt that can be planted into a vineyard, and then turn those into bottles of wine. So when people come to...
Wait, what?
Let me finish. So when people come to my funeral, but it won't be called a funeral, it's going to be a roast. So instead of people coming to cry, what they're going to do is you're going to drink my wine, and we're all going to go up to the front and just tell roast me and like tell like your best memories with me. That's what I want.
I actually love it.
Not
I don't know about drinking wine.
Why wouldn't you drink the wine?
Because she doesn't part of the body she's drinking.
You are not Jesus. You're not Jesus. We're not drinking the blood of Carlos.
Or, I wanted to become, I really want to become an avocado tree so my family can always have protein, but that would take a while to become.
You might as well save your
seed in
the jar. Save your seed in the jar. Leave it as much protein as you need. They can look at it every day.
They could have protein.
OMG, I'm done. Coco, you ever know about me? You ever thought about how you want to be sent off? You got a living will written down somewhere too?
No, I do not. But I do know that I would if I do get cremated, I want to be put as a plant. But if I don't, I don't know. I want a fun funeral. I don't want something sad, Like my one uncle, who, God rest his soul, was he was a comedian over in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. But we thought that he was joking when he told us that he really wanted an open casket, but with his ass up, facing. He sure fucking did. Yeah, he said everybody can kiss my ass.
Love it.
That was it. I was done. I was so done.
Is this real life? Did it happen in real life? What were you saying?
No, it was. He really did it.
OMG. Shout out to him. Shout out to Uncle. Shout out to Uncle. I'll never forget that story in my life. Ever. That will stick with Uncle Hector. What's his name? I'm making up. Just say Uncle Hector. What's his name?
Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie. Uncle Willie from Puerto Rico. Got it. Copy her. I'm never going to forget that. Coco. That's what send off. You thought about it?
Yeah.
What your feeling was like?
I always wanted to be a tree. Whether they cut me down later on, I don't care, but I want to ultimately be a tree for a little while. I want to give back to the earth, so that's kind of like my thing. And then also, I want to have a party. Like, I want y'all, okay, so if I die before any of you, I need you to take note of this. I want a fashion show. I want a rap.
Bitch, you got a budget for this? You got a budget for this? You got life insurance?
Listen, y'all gonna have the funds. I'm gonna save funds. And I'm gonna have it aside.
So don't have my ads on GoFundMe asking for all we need.
You do what you gotta do.
Frank.
Right?
You gonna go GoFundMe Pro. You got this, Pro. You gonna hold us down. I know what to do.
We need a DJ.
Rap battle.
We need a DJ with a runway.
Yeah.
He wants a rap battle.
No, listen, I want some live performances. I don't know, I got all plans. I want it to be a party. I don't want nobody crying. I don't want anybody. I want people to tell jokes. Like, get Kevin Hart or somebody. I don't know. I just want to have, like, a whole blowout celebration because I'm fucking fabulous and I'm fucking fat.
So it's like a Ease on Down the Road, Courtney's Dead party. Ease on Down the Road, Courtney's Dead. Okay, you want a big party. I get it. I got you. I get it. We're going to make it happen.
What about future?
Wow. With me, honestly, I'm going to start with the reality. The reality is I don't think about dying because it's so true in today's society that tomorrow's not promised to nobody. That to me, it's sad to think about it. Right, but to be on the lighter note, I have fun with it a little bit. Listen to you guys. I made me want to, really think about. Well, if I did have to think about it, I definitely want to be stuffed like a motherfucking thing on the shelf with a microphone in my hand and one of my nice outfits on, in the middle of a glass thing where people can come see me and take pictures and chill. Because that's how the fuck I'm going to live my life, and that's how I'm going to walk out of here. Looking fabulous with a microphone, chilling with my little blazers on and my nice shoes. I've seen the guys stuck in the corner in Mexico, dressed up, looking chill, with his blunts and everything. I want a big, like, yeah, if I'm going to do it, I want to go with a bang. Because the body, what you do with the body, whether you make a tree, because everybody on this damn line want to make a tree. And,
I don't want nobody picking fruit from my tree like Carlos. I just want to be a tree.
Everybody want to be a tree.
That protein.
You can pick from the tree of life.
Yeah, these white people is not going to let y'all be a tree. They're going to make sure that they're going to build a building on top of these lands like they've been building. They're going to stuff you on the landfill.
No tree. Just voted for that. You can be a tree in Seattle. If you want to be a tree.
When you die, you can be a tree in Seattle?
Yeah, you can turn your body into. That's why I want to do it now.
Oh, turn your body to dirt versus a tree. Oh, that's cool. Shout out to you. Now, I think you should just give it to people. We going out with a bang, baby. Brooklyn in the house. You know how PP is. I'm definitely going out with a bang. You're going to press a button. You're going to be able to hear me say, "What's up, y'all?" You know, like one of those little those dolls those little teddy bears. What's it called? Build-A-Bear. Just like that. You press a button. You're going to hear me able to sing a note and give you a rap song, sing a note, and MC. All three. Press
a block party.
Always have a party. Look, my body gonna make money after me. This thing gonna hire me. Just put me right in the middle, press a button, boom, party done. All right, well, we made it through. We all found out some interesting things about each other. Very interesting. You know, I love it. Each and every time we do a podcast, we do find out more and more about each other and more about some of our listeners too, who may be commenting and tuning in as well from time to time. But this is our first New Year edition of first episode of the New Year. So happy New Year, everybody! This has been an awesome episode, Coco. I'm loving this content. Kind of keep it coming. I'm loving this. Now. This is pretty awesome. So, guys, be sure to tune in on Friday this week. We have Real Shit Fridays with Coco and Carlos, 2 p.m. I don't know, Pacific time. I guess that's what that means. We'll be doing that's when we show's coming soon. There won't be no tomorrow show on Tuesday. So outside of that, we'll be back again next time. Anybody want to say anything on the way out? Anything interesting? Anything that may have touched your soul on today on this show? You want to leave our wonderful listeners with?
I'm just gonna be that guy and say, "New Year, New You," and I'm just gonna go out.
Go all or go home. Listen, the blessings are already flowing. I already told y'all. Let's rub it off on y'all too. Let's get it.
Okay, live life to the fullest.
It's our time, baby. Let's go. Let's get it. Until next week, until next time, what we do, y'all?
Stay savage.
Play that music.